We said it now. I've already said we want him to be in PDP. So there are plans, there are desires, strategies.
This is the second time that the well-respected Peter Obi is coming to Bauchi State. There are speculations, this is also time for speculation. We want to know, sir, are there any kind of plan by two of you to be in the same booth as the 2027 election is coming?
We said it now. I've already said we want him to be in PDP. So there are plans, there are desires, strategies, but certainly he has answered you. All the opposition parties must come together. And so definitely the question has been answered before you ask. We want to make sure that there is a coming together in alliances by parties that are in the opposition, so that we can present a common front. And of course, he's one of the outstanding leaders of the opposition parties, and definitely having him there is a very big delight. Thank you.
When we're talking, the oppositions have to work together. We found out that in the different parties today, a party in government don't want democracy to function the way it functions. I said it and I maintain categorically that if I have opportunity of serving this country, every party will function properly as a political party. I will ensure they function properly. By having parties the way parties should be, parties are supposed to be bigger than the elected people. That's what it is. I've seen here where they say president is the leader of the party. No, I disagree. I wouldn't have it if I have the opportunity. I want the party to be bigger than the president so that we can build orderliness. I want the party to be bigger than government so that we can have orderliness. So we can subject ourselves to that. That's what it should be. Because parties will outlive us. Look at the ANC in South Africa. Has outlived Mandela, Mbeki, Zuma, and will outlive. But here, everybody destroys the house that is living. We want to build what is sustainable for our children. So for me, I believe that right now, we are going through difficulties in all the parties. So what we're trying to do is to navigate where we'll come together and resolve to do the right thing for the future of our children.
My name is Paul Olode, the Sun newspaper. My first question goes to the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and my second question will go to our governor here. The first question, sir, you contested in the 2023 presidential elections, and you have shown interest in 2027. And then what new strategies or alliance are you, putting in place to ensure that you have a different outcome in 2027? Thank you, sir.
If I tell you that, then the plan will fail.
My next question is for His Excellency, sir.
The way it is going, if you ask me, I will tell you that the possibility of Mr. Peter Obi contesting the presidential election in PDP is 90% certain than him contesting in Labour Party. Because the way PDP is going, it's like they will pull everything down. They will remove every roadblock. They will do everything possible to ensure that they have Mr. Peter Obi as their presidential candidate in 2027. Bala Mohammed is not just someone that come out to say anything. Bala Mohammed currently is one of the major key players in the PDP. He's a stakeholder in the PDP. So whatever he says is something you should take very serious. It's not something you dismiss with your hand. So it is obvious that PDP is doing everything possible to ensure that they have Mr. Peter Obi back as their presidential candidate in 2027. I think this is a very good one. Mr. Peter Obi needs all the publicity so far ahead of the 2027 presidential election. In the 2023 presidential election, it was just the obedient that were talking about Mr. Peter Obi in a positive light. Other politicians will go on the national television, they will begin to talk about Mr. Peter Obi in a negative light. But ahead of the 2027 presidential election, you can see politicians are now talking about Mr. Peter Obi in a positive light. You have the PDP Deputy Publicity Secretary went on a national television channels precisely and he celebrated the exit of Atiku Abubakar. And he said that Atiku Abubakar was responsible for the reason why Mr. Peter Obi did not emerge as the PDP presidential flag bearer in 2023. He described Mr. Peter Obi as a political asset that every political party in Nigeria will love to have. Now, that is a good advertisement for Mr. Peter Obi coming from another political party. I am sure when he went on national television to speak, PDP members tuned in to listen to him, and the North also tuned in to listen to him. So mentioning Mr. Peter Obi in that light is another way of advertising Mr. Peter Obi. And then you have one of the founding fathers of the PDP, Jerry Ghana, went on the national television and said the PDP is doing everything possible to bring back Mr. Peter Obi. He equally said that the PDP is currently in discussion with Mr. Peter Obi. Jerry Ghana also went further to talk about Atiku Abubakar's chances in the 2027 presidential election. He said currently in the Northeast, from their opinion poll they've gathered so far, Mr. Peter Obi is getting a higher rating in the Northeast than Atiku Abubakar. And he said that Mr. Peter Obi will defeat any Northern candidate in the 2027 presidential election. Now, he answered this question because he was asked what are Mr. Peter Obi's chances in the North. You know, there is this misconception from naysayers that believe that Peter Obi cannot penetrate the North. I mean, they keep holding on to this thing because they don't want to believe that Mr. Peter Obi is the one to beat in 2027 presidential election. They don't want to accept that Mr. Peter Obi is the biggest political leader in Nigeria right now. I don't know if they are intentionally making that statement because Mr. Peter Obi destroyed all of those misconceptions in the 2023 presidential election. We'll come to that later. Now you have the Bauchi State Governor, the PDP Governors Forum Chairman, a stakeholder in the PDP, announcing to everyone that they are doing everything possible to ensure that PDP brings back Mr. Peter Obi in 2027 presidential election. Now the reason for all of this is because PDP has already zoned their party ticket to the south and they need to win the election. I think this is coming a little bit late because the right time for PDP to have done this was in 2023. That was when the momentum was high. That was when Bala has not become the president. That was when President Mohammed was about to exit the political landscape. And of course, the obedient movement was there to support and ensure that Mr. Peter Obi became the president. The obedient movement even went on the street, besieged the PDP to give Mr. Peter Obi the ticket. I'm not making an excuse because I know that Mr. Peter Obi won the 2023 presidential election. But Mr. Peter Obi's victory would have been more consolidated if he had contested that election under the PDP. The reason why Mr. Peter Obi was unable to be announced the president were in so many factors. One of the factors was the fact that Labour Party was not well represented. Mr. Peter Obi made the Labour Party a relatively unknown political party with no structures. But in 6 months, Mr. Peter Obi was able to build the structures. Not the solid structure that was needed to deliver a presidential election across the country, but a structure in humans. People came out massively in their millions and voted for Mr. Peter Obi. In Nigerian politics, it is not just enough for you to vote. You need to vote and ensure that your vote counts. You need to protect your vote. This is because we are still using the manual method in our voting, and you need agents, foot soldiers on ground to protect your vote. Labour Party agents were missing in many states of the Federation. Even in the place where I voted, a city in Nigeria, Labour Party agent was missing in that polling unit. I was the one that stood in as a Labour Party agent, even when I was not verified. But I ensured that the vote of Mr. Peter Obi was counted and recorded. But there are places whereby you will not see any Labour Party agent. And the people were even scared to stand as a Labour Party agent. Now, the other political parties that were represented there, we ensured that Mr. Peter Obi's votes were hugely stolen. And these were done in states that are being ruled by the APC and the PDP governors. States like Delta and Bayelsa states that were PDP states. Peter Obi won in Delta state. He lost in Bayelsa state. But his votes were stolen massively in these states. Not just in these 2 states, but in many states across the Federation, even in states where he won the election. For instance, in Plateau State where he won the election, Mr. Peter Obi won the election in Plateau State with 400,000 votes, but the people on ground were calculating 1 million plus votes for Mr. Peter Obi. After the election, a PDP stakeholder went on the national television to announce that Peter Obi won the 2023 presidential election. He was speaking based on the data and results that was collated in the PDP situation room. This is the reason why I said that Mr. Peter Obi's victory would have been more consolidated in PDP than the relatively unknown political party like the Labour Party that he contested into. But where I believe that nothing is a waste, let us all believe that the Labour Party was just a vehicle that was used to announce Mr. Peter Obi into Nigerian national politics. You know, before that election, Mr. Peter Obi was disregarded. Mr. Peter Obi was ridiculed. No one believed in his capacity. Mr. Peter Obi was ridiculed that the North will not vote him. Maybe if Mr. Peter Obi had done what he did in 2023 with the PDP, nobody would have given him his flowers. They would have thought that the reason why he secured those number of votes was because he contested in the PDP, a popular party. Of course, this is the same thing they are saying about Atiku Abubakar. They don't believe in Atiku Abubakar's capacity to win a presidential election in Nigeria. Even the millions of votes he secured in 2019 and 2023 are being dismissed. They are claiming that that vote belongs to the PDP. That is the reason the moment he left the PDP, they went on the national television to celebrate his exit and they asked him not to come back to the PDP. Maybe this is what they would have been saying about Mr. Peter Obi had Peter Obi contested that election under the PDP. Contesting in the Labour Party gave Mr. Peter Obi a leverage for the fact that he did not just win that election, but he broke that myth. He broke that misconception that says that he will not be voted by the Northerners. Mr. Peter Obi was well accepted in the North. He won an election in the Northern states. He secured a huge chunk of votes in the core North. Even I myself was in disbelief when I saw the result. And we all believe that if Peter Obi had agents on ground, the votes that came out from the core North would have been more than what he was given. If he can do that with the Labour Party, he will do more in the PDP. This is the reason why the PDP is doing everything possible to ensure that Mr. Peter Obi come back to the PDP. They believe that if given a strong Northern vice presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi will defeat Bala Ahmed Tinubu. Now, Peter Obi will defeat Bala Ahmed Tinubu whether he contests in the PDP or in the Labour Party or any political party. He's the biggest opposition politician in Nigeria right now. His cult followership cuts across the country, the east, west, north, and the south. Not even President Muhammad Buhari can pull the number that Mr. Peter Obi is pulling in Nigeria. President Muhammad Buhari had a cult followership, but that was domiciled in the northwest and in the northeast. Mr. Peter Obi is the only one that received massive support from every nook and cranny in Nigeria, and is still relevant even after the election. Most Nigerian politicians, you don't get to hear or talk about them until an election cycle is around the corner. But that is not so with Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi is on the lips of everyone. The opposition, even the presidency, they are all talking about Mr. Peter Obi. They see him as a threat. So whether late or not, I still think that PDP giving Mr. Peter Obi the ticket is going to be a huge advantage for Mr. Peter Obi. PDP still has their structure on ground and intact. Mr. Peter Obi contesting under the PDP is going to be game over for Bala Ahmed Tinubu. And again, this is also an added advantage to Mr. Peter Obi in times of negotiation. It gives Mr. Peter Obi higher bargaining power when it comes to negotiating who will be the presidential candidate of the ADC-led coalition. Do you notice that the momentum surrounding the ADC-led coalition is gradually dying down? Many Nigerians are no longer excited and discussing about the ADC coalition anymore. The reason is because ADC is here to decide where their presidential ticket will go to. They are here to decide whether to give Mr. Peter Obi the presidential ticket or not. And that ADC-led coalition is all about Mr. Peter Obi. The moment the ADC coalition will announce Mr. Peter Obi as their presidential candidate, you are going to see the massive support, the massive advertisement that will flow into the ADC. So right now they know that people are no longer talking about them again because of the way they are treating Mr. Peter Obi. Therefore, they will have a rethink. And the way PDP is pushing to get back Mr. Peter Obi will make them to make their decision on handing Mr. Peter Obi that presidential ticket quicker. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.